Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're connecting from. Um, we've looked at Module One up till Module Six in the Cisco Net Academy IT Essentials Training course. We're now in Module Seven, and we're going to be looking at laptops and other mobile devices. So it's a very long module, up to 119 slides. So we'll see how very fast we can go. Most of the explanations and the case studies, we're going to do them in the labs. We're going to do them in the packet tracer and also in the most of the videos you're going to see to help aid your understanding. You're going to see them in the Cisco NetAcad LMS. For any of us that have not signed up or that don't have access, you could contact us. You could have access to the platform, begin your training certification, and also get your badge at the end of the day, your Cisco badge. Okay, the course starts somewhere around here. Yes, laptops and other mobile devices. We're going to be looking at laptops and mobile devices. We're going to be looking at laptop configuration, hardware components, installation and configuration, and other mobile hardware overview. We're going to be looking at connectivity. We'll look at laptop and mobile devices. We're going to look at laptop and mobile devices. How do we troubleshoot them? How do we troubleshoot them? Characteristics of laptops and other mobile devices. Mobility. So mobility is your ability to be able to move from one point to the other and still able to have access to information, most times over the internet. Now, once you have limited connectivity, you might not be able to do remote computing, you're able to do have access through VPN access to your office. Other characteristics of mobile devices is that they are rechargeable, they have their power self-contained, they are very small and lightweight compared to desktop computers. Laptops, on the other hand, they'll have several operating systems, amongst which are Windows, the Mac iOS, and the Linux. Uh, Compared to the mobile phones that have still iOS, you have Windows mobile phones, you also have the Android mobile phones. Okay, that's one of the characteristics of laptops. They also have smartphone characteristics. Yeah, some of them uses the Google Play. You could download apps from there. And you can also upgrade your mobile phone OS depending if your hardware is compatible with the new operating system you want to upgrade to. So there must be hardware compatibility before you do an upgrade. And most of them you could connect through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi for to share network, to share resources. Smartphone features, a lot of them have GPS. It's a very common feature. Tablet and e-readers. The thing about e-readers that they are a little bit lightweight. Their battery lasts longer because they're not doing too much of heavy stuff. Don't really do video gaming. You don't do streaming. You don't really need high processor, high RAM, and the rest. So it makes them very lightweight. It makes them uh, be able to last long. So they have longer lives battery. The what else? An example is Amazon Kindle, a very very sleek flat e-reader. Now you have smartwatches and fitness trackers. So you have this. You have a phone. This smartwatch can help you monitor your heartbeat, your pulse rate, your sleep, how your activities like your sleep and your exercise, how many kilometers you've run, and the rest. So these are very very common wearable devices. Then augmented and virtual reality. The difference is that for augmented reality, you could play games, you could do several things, and high graphics, right? But for virtual reality, you wear something and you are connected to another PC and you can watch something. So for virtual reality, a user wears a special headset which displays graphics from a separate computer. Okay, you have a lab there, you have a video that explains the features unique to a laptop. This is a very nice handsome. Please, on your Cisco LMS, make sure that you go through them. And if you have questions, please note them down on the WhatsApp or the mentorship group. Same thing with that. Oh yes, for the motherboard, for laptops, they have different motherboards in terms of size, in terms of form factor. You have 11 inch, you have 13 inch, you have 14 inch, you have 15 inch. Even of recent, I saw is 17 inch, right? Quite large for gaming. And it's a Core i7 HP laptop. The same way you have their size is it's going to be commensurate to how their board size is going to be, just like we have in our desktops. Internet components. So within your laptop, you have your RAM. So this is what it looks like, just to one notch here. You have your processor, your CPU, you have your hard disk, and you have your solid state drive. So this is a type of drive. They have high performance. They come in small size. They look like RAM, and they use low power consumption. So you see some systems, some recent systems now, their power adapter is roughly less than even 30, 35, 40 watts. So that is a way of minifying system components to be able to to be more energy efficient. Like when we're looking at the desktop computers, most of those desktop computers, you see that they have uh, power pack size of from 125 up to 500 watts. But for laptops, you see that your power pack is, if you check the ratings, most times it's not more than 75 or 80 watts maximum. I haven't seen anything above 80 watts, not to my knowledge. But more recent systems are going to be using lower wattage of, let's say, 25 to 30, 35. So it's a result of reducing the size of this guy to this guy. So these are the internet components of your laptop. Special function keys. Now you should understand that in your laptop you have your function keys. Your FN on your laptop is FN. The FN can be a capital F and a small n, or like in my own case, like I'm seeing here, it's capital F's, capital N. So they help you do some things. Like my F1 here is lock. My F2 here I think is light. My F3 here, it's something I can't get to see very well. Okay, I think this is a projector. My F3 looks like my hard disk activity if I want to pause or I want to restart. My F5 here is to split my screen. My F6 and my F7 is my brightness up and down. My F8 is my wireless. Then my F9 is my mouse click right and left. So you have all of these function keys. They do different things and they could do all of the items we are seeing here. Now you have a video explanation in your elements that tells you the docking station versus the port replicator, what they do, and a very, very hands-on video explanation of that. Okay, that's the lab. Then you have different types of displays. So you have liquid crystal display, you have light emitting diodes, you have organic light emitting diodes, OLED. So OLED is more recent. LCD is a little bit older. So just tells you the quality of video and display you're going to have. So the more recent, the more expensive the technology, and the more crystal clear you have your view. So laptop display features. So you have some laptops that have detachable. So this can function. You could have an onboard screen, a kind of a GUI on screen keyboard, or you could attach this and have this very nice. So you could have touch screens. Then you can have cutoff switches. The cutoff switch helps conserve power by turning off the display. So these are some of the features that you have your display, because your display is very paramount. Your screen does a lot of power consumption. So that power consumption that it does, if you turn off display, like most systems, you go to your power settings and say, okay, if I idle for like 5 minutes, please turn off my display. What you do is that you're conserving power. Backlights and inverters. Yes. So there's a guy that is going to invert the power that is coming from your power pack to what your screen is going to use. So you call that the okay. So you call that your inverter. So this is the guy, or at times it's called the video module. So this is the guy that you see this latch here. You have the screen on this place, and you have power here, somewhere here. The power is going to enter into this place, whereas the screen is going to enter into here. So you see it here. So this serves as the bridge between your power pack, the board, and the screen itself. So two common types of backlights are cathode ray fluorescent lamp, the light emitting diode. So the display components include the backlight and inverter, the fluorescent backlight, the inverter, and the LED backlight. So these are the things that makes up your display. For Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, you have, okay, if you open up the casing of your laptop, the first part, you see the video module is on top. You have two wires that goes here depending on the laptop. See this wire, it goes here, it stays here. So you have something that looks like an antenna at the far end of your laptop. It comes and goes into the board, right? So this is your wireless card. If you remove this hardware, you're never going to have wireless on that system. So most of the time, it's not about installing a driver for your laptop for you to be able to have wireless. At times, if the hardware has been removed, then you're not able to access Wi-Fi. Webcam and microphone, yes. Like you see this one, this is the webcam, this is what it looks like. Then these two guys are the microphone. Some systems you have it just by the keyboard area, whereas some systems you have it just by the camera, just a small hole. Laptop configuration, yes, power management. So you have different types, very self-explanatory, X0, S1, S2, S3, up until S5. So you could do all of those configurations depending on what you need. Now, within your BIOS, your basic input-output system, you could do some configurations, yes, to manage your advanced configuration and power interface. To manage power within your system, there's some configurations you could do depending on if you enable or disable it. Okay, yes, you have a video demonstration that is very explicit on your LMS, your learning management system, that tells you how to manage power. So you could go through that, take your notes, and if you have any question, please do ask. Bluetooth, most of us use Bluetooth. You could use Bluetooth to transfer files between your system and maybe your phone, or between a laptop and another laptop. Yes, you have a video demonstration that demonstrates that to you. Cellular one, yes. Most devices can do tethering like we saw in the previous model. Wi-Fi cards, they come in different shapes, different sizes. Um, that video demonstration tells you how to do those configurations. So the LMS is very critical. The slides here is a summary of what you have in your LMS. So make sure you go through your LMS and have the full information of most of the things we're discussing through the slides. Laptop hardware and component installation and configuration. So you have express cards, you have flash memory. We've discussed most of these things in our previous module. Smart card readers, SODI memory. You have a video explanation there on how to do an installation of SODIMM. SODIMM, you have your RAM. Your RAM most of the times comes in SODIMM. So you have SODIMM, you have SD-RAM, you have DDR1, DDR2, DDR3. So it has to be specific to that particular laptop. It has to be specific to that particular laptop. Hardware replacement. Most of the times you want to check the specification like we saw in our very first module or the second module for this course, laptop components. You have to make sure that you're changing exactly the same thing. So because systems, those items have to be compatible. So there are different things that you could change, but there are some things that we call field replaceable items. For instance, if your screen gets bad or is broken, it's field replaceable item. Your battery gets bad, they're field replaceable item. Your hard disk get bad, they're field replaceable items. So the few things that you could repair. For instance, your hard disk. If your hard disk start getting maybe it's corrupted, yes, you could do diagnostics. You could do disk repair. You could do disk defragmentation. There's sort of a lot of things you could do. Some different fix you could do, or your inverter, your LCD inverter is bad, you could do replacement or you could change a component that is bad. Okay, yes, you have a video explanation of how to replace a keyboard, replace a screen. Power is very critical because without power, we will not be able to use our system. These are some signs that the battery may need to be replaced. It does not hold charge. It lasts for a very short time. It overheats. It's leaking. Please, it's a field replaceable item, FRU. Make sure you replace. And before you replace, make sure that you're changing exactly the same voltage and the same amperage. If you turn behind this laptop, you're going to see that it has its rating. If this is missing, just look behind this place where you have this write-up. You're going to see the different ratings. Some laptops can accommodate up to three different types of ratings. They will tell you, okay, 19 volt 3.5 amps, 18.5 volt 4.5 amps. So make sure you're replacing exactly the same thing. As if you don't do that, what is going to happen is that your charger might not be able to charge this battery, or it's going to work but it's not going to last long, or it's going to be working and it's going to have been clash issues with your maybe your mouse, your keyboard, or maybe your display even, or any other component. Yes, DC jack replacement. The DC jack is just something you have where you're going to have your power. So you could cut it off, get from another system, solder it, and you have that done. The video demonstration, you can watch it on the LMS. Very, very detailed. Yes, internet storage and optical drive. So optical drive light, that is CD, then internet storage, that is your hard disk. So their length, right? 1.8 inch for the optical drive and 2.5 inch for your hard disk, right? Um, okay, these are different sizes, yes. Okay, so you have an explanation, a video demonstration for that on the LMS, so please go through that. Wireless card replacement, you have a video explanation for that. Speaker, CPU, motherboard, please go through them. They're very, very self-explanatory. Mobile hardware, so you have cell phone parts. Most of us are very conversant with our phone devices. Some will have a placeholder, some you have to remove the back, you have your SIM, you have a memory card. These are components you have within your mobile phone. Of course, you have different types of cable. Your mini, we've looked at this earlier on in previous modules. Your type C, your micro, and your lightning cable uh, type that is being used by Apple. You have other type of connections, your near field communication, your NFC used for access control most of the times, or infrared or Bluetooth. Smartphones, you could decide to use tethering. Your tethering can be Bluetooth, it can be the normal hotspot, or it can be USB. These are the three options you have to share internet with your mobile device. Wearable device, we've talked about this. Specialty device for GPS navigation. Most phones you have your GPS or your Google Map or your any of the maps you could use to navigate around. Connectivity for email. You will need to have your phone set or your laptop Wi-Fi. If you don't have a Wi-Fi, you could get a Wi-Fi adapter. With that, you can connect to a wireless device, right? And you can have access to a network. Okay, there's a lab here we're going to look at later on. So in module 4, I think, when we were talking about networks, you see, we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5G. So this is like the history between 1980, the early 80s, like I said earlier on. You had your first set of computers before you had the Windows PC and all of the generations. Then later on, you had Apple computers and the rest. Up to when we now have 5G. So you have 5G adoption growing and being adopted in just very few places. You have very good coverage of 4G across many countries. Same thing with 2G. Each of them have their capability, their speed. The more recent your technology, that will tell how fast you're going to connect. Airplane mode, once your phone is on airplane mode or your laptop is on airplane mode, it's as good as you're not going to have access, you're not going to be able to connect to any of the connectivity modes like Bluetooth, like Wi-Fi, like radio, and the rest. Hotspot, we've talked about this earlier on. So if you need to share your internet resource, so you just go to your settings, go to your hotspot, you tap on it. Once it's activated, you give this password to somebody else, the person able to share from your internet access. Of course, your internet data have to be on. That's the switch on. Okay, Bluetooth pairing. Yes, you could do Bluetooth pairing. Email, you could use email on your phone. Uh, you have POP. These are email protocols. These are email protocols and standards. This earlier on we talked about the port numbers, the port number, the protocol, and the function. So you want to be able to differentiate all of these protocols. If you're configuring email, for instance, in Outlook, you need to select any of them. If you're configuring email on your phone, you need to select any of them. Tell your web developer or your email provider to give you the settings. Once they give you the settings, you just follow the instructions. You're able to configure it on your phone or your Outlook or any of your email clients. Okay, so these are some of the configurations you're going to use when you're setting it up. Your email address, your display name, your email protocol, the name servers. So for mine, it's going to be something like contact@softwareventures.com. My display name is going to be my name, Victor Chidi Oboroka. My email is going to be maybe POP or IMAP. I'm going to choose any of that. My incoming or outgoing server is going to be the main domain name, right? Or as adapted, which is softwareventures.com. The account credentials is going to be the username and the password. So once you do that, you've configured email on your device. That's how you do that on Android also. On iOS, you follow same instructions, same thing, internet email. That's the one that's provided by your website. Um, so you could decide to synchronize also so that whatever data you have on your work email, you could sync it. Most of the times it's by default. It syncs that data so that you don't lose track of any email. Yeah, so you could go to your settings and enable synchronization. Okay, because of internet access, at times you want to be careful on which of the options you opt for during synchronization. If you say I want it when I'm on Wi-Fi, I want it when I'm on data, I want it to also check songs and videos. Depending on how much bandwidth you have, that will tell what options you should use so that you make sure that at least the most important emails you have them delivered on your phone. Yes, for the network, for our PC desktop components, for our laptop components, for our mobile components, we have to learn how to do preventive maintenance, and that's this last module. The reason for maintenance, because they are portable, because you move them around, you could have spills, you could have drops, you could have rain, you could have excessive moisture, you could have different kind of things, because dust and the rest. So you want to make sure that you have proper care for them. And as much as possible, be preventive, right? Don't be corrective. Make sure you clean the system, make sure you perform hard disk or hard drive maintenance like the defragmentation, the cleanup, the software updates. Make sure you're very, very careful, both on the software side and on the hardware side. Cleanup. Yes. Like every troubleshooting process we've looked at, you want to first identify the problem. Think about what are the probable causes, then test each of them to actually know which is right. Then try to establish a plan, activate any of the processes. Then whatever you are your findings, your set of actions, please document them so that it will help you in the future. So these are just the explanation of each of those steps. Step one, step two, step three, step four, and of course, step five. So you have some common problems and what the issues might be. So you could read them up. You have more explanations on your LMS. Laptops does not power on. The power laptop battery supports the system for a reduced period of time. An external display has power but no image on the screen. So the internet is a very, very good resource. But when you're trying to look for your solutions, be very brief as possible, as much as possible. Don't go more than 10 words. And add your mobile phone or your PC spec. For instance, you can say HP 15 laptop does not power on after system upgrade. So that's a very direct question. You're going to have tons of answers. So you have 1001 issues that you're going to have. So as you start and continue in this journey of uh, IT essentials, PC repairs, hardware maintenance, troubleshooting, you now get more and more experienced. Okay, I think that's all. So we've learned some of the basic functions of a laptop and mobile devices, how to configure the power settings. You have most of those things on your LMS, installing of the components, the laptop components, and the rest of them. These are some of the new terms you've learned. Make sure you go through them, make your notes, and if you have questions, please ask on the LMS. Okay, thank you very much. See you in module 8.